What was your favorite childhood memory? Mine definitely have to be when I would come home from school to a big plate of my mom's most delicious homemade flan ever. And you know what? Sometimes I really do think about how life was before COVID and how my childhood was and how life was just way better before. But instead of getting all depressive, I'm going to show you guys how to make the most delicious, easiest homemade flan ever. So I'm going to start off by telling you guys the ingredients that you need and the materials. Then I'm going to tell you how to caramelize the sugar. And lastly, I'm going to tell you guys how to make the flan mixture itself. Starting off with all of the materials and ingredients, we're going to start off with 1 cup. We also need 1 tablespoon, I know it looks so cool, and 1/3 of a cup. Then we're going to need some vanilla, some milk, some water, sugar, and 2 eggs. Then we're also gonna need two big bowls, and things to mix with, as well as 2 pots that are safe to be on the stove. So the first step that I'm going to show you guys how to do is how to make the sugar. And in order to make the sugar, you're going to have to use the 1 tablespoon, and you're also going to use 1/3 of a cup. So you're going to use 6 tablespoons of sugar and 1/3 of a cup of water. Let me show you guys. So for this step, I already have my 6 tablespoons of sugar in here, and I'm going to put them in the pot. Then I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of water that is also in here, and I'm just going to stir it until it is all dissolved. Okay, so while we're waiting for the sugar to start caramelizing, we can actually watch it from up here. So I'm going to tell you guys a fact about flan. According to an article by Katie Straw called The Unique History of Flan, a World Travel Dessert, flan is actually a French word that is called flan from the Latin word fladon, which came from the Old High German word flado, which means flat cake or object. Pretty interesting. So here it is, and we're gonna have to let it refrigerate for at least 10 minutes while we make the flan mixture. While we wait for it to refrigerate, I'm going to tell you guys another fact about flan. So, according to the history of flan by Victoria Frixa, flan originated from Spain, Italy, Portugal, and France, which is crazy because it's mostly known as a Mexican type of dessert. Now that you know how to make the caramel of the flan, I'm going to go on to show you guys how to make the flan itself. I'm going to show you up here because I cannot show my face while I make the stuff. So we're gonna start off with 1 cup of milk. So here we go. Now 2 eggs, 1 egg, 2 eggs. Then after that, we're gonna mix, and then we're gonna bring in 3 tablespoons of sugar. So here you go. And now we're gonna add vanilla. So 1 tablespoon of vanilla. After we gotta mix it all up together to make sure it's all good and mixed, we're going to add our mixture, and we're going to use a strainer to strain out any of the nasty goop that has been left behind by the eggs. So now that we have made our flan mixture, we are going to now add the caramel into the cup, which I already did, and now we're going to add the flan mixture, and you can see everything that's happening up here. Okay, so now I showed you guys how to put the mixture into the mug. I'm going to show you guys up here how to put the aluminum foil onto the mug for it to steam. Now, I'm going to also show you guys how to make the pot for it to steam in. So we're going to get a big pot, and we're going to put water in it as much as you can, and then we're going to place the mug in it, and then we're going to cover it, and we're going to let it steam for about 25 minutes. But while we wait for it to steam, I'm gonna show you guys and tell you guys about a fact about flan and where it came from. So in an article, Where Did Flan Come From by Yesenia Eliza, in ancient Rome, the Romans had domesticated chickens as their first animals. And so with chickens, they had a surplus amount of eggs. and they didn't know what to do with them. So they borrowed some techniques from the Greek, and with those experiments, that's when flan came upon us. Speaking about flan, let's see if our flan is ready. It's looking pretty good. I have shown you guys how to make the easiest flan ever with only a couple ingredients and steps. I showed you guys the ingredients and the materials needed. Then I told you guys how to make the caramelization of the sugar. And lastly, I told you guys how to actually make the flan itself. So I know things get hard usually, especially in quarantine. They probably even seem to get even worse. But instead of being down, just make yourself homemade flan.